So we're going to take a quick look at Tonkin. Still kind of getting a feel for it. I have a feeling I'm going to play through all 6 scenarios. I have it set up. I really want to give myself a chance to digest the rules. And in a game with this guy in it is a game I want to play. That is excellent. My camera's even focusing on it. It knows that's a cool face. So this is the intro learning scenario. I'm making some notes to myself as I go along. These 3 hexes are victory point hexes for this scenario. There's no victory points per se in this scenario. It's 3 turns long, which I think I'm supposed to have 2 of those, but I don't. Because they're supposed to be used for how many operation points each player is going to use each turn, and maybe it just goes back and forth, but I'm just going to use it up there. So what we're going to look at is an overrun. Here we can see that the Viet Minh start off with 1 victory point hex and the French have 2. However, those 2 are lightly held by some Thai forces. And the Viet Minh are in a decent position to sweep over there. However, that's a big stack right there of French units that could potentially get in and wipe out Uncle Ho Chi Minh there. So for the overrun, it follows the basic combat. It goes like this. You declare it. There can be a retreat. The Thai, however, cannot retreat. The Thai cannot ambush. Only the Viet Minh can ambush. So then we get into the leading unit, which for the Thai will only be this unit. Well, it can actually... It comes with this cool little battle hex, the defender, and I can leave that behind. And then we can kind of spread these guys out and see what's going on. Nice little thing. They didn't have to do something like this, but I guess when you're dealing with stacks like that, coming from 2 different angles, maybe it is pretty worthwhile. So this 148 independent, I guess that's a regiment, will be the leader, and this will be the leader here. Let's see, next up is Bolshevik Spirit. The Viet Minh can basically guarantee themselves a step loss. They can take a step loss at the end of the turn or the end of the round. To give themselves a +3 modifier, I think. Sorry, it's not a +3 modifier. They roll an additional die. So that could be pretty handy. Here, I don't think we'll need it. We're looking at, this is the combat down here, so we're looking at 1823 against 2. So that's going to be maxed out. Next is roll 2 dice to get the combat result. That's 5. Oh, and I didn't do the... it's not on here, but I guess it takes place during the... When you declare these guys, there's going to be a +1 for the Viet Minh because of the morale of each. You compare the morale, which is this yellow number here. It's +1 here, so they get a +1. If it were flipped, they would get a +1 theirs. So we rolled a 5. We saw it already. Now what we do is take into effect the die roll modifiers. The terrain, rough terrain doesn't have a modifier. So we're at 5. No Bolshevik. More than 5 to 1 is yes, so that's going to be a +1, so we're at a 6. Difference in morale is +1, so we're at 7. Overrun is outside the range. According to the rules, you check supply here, and there's a supply dump here, so it's 1, 2, 3, so we're good there. Rainy season, no. French attack. French defend, nope. So we're good there. So we are at 7, and the combat results table isn't, you know, per its odds and then what you roll within a range. And so the results are 2 times attack or loss, exchange, and then attack or loss, exchange, defender loss, and 2 times defender loss. So the loss is a step loss. So exchange, and then defender loses another. So the lead unit has to do the attack, take the first step. So maybe this guy wasn't the best to put in, although his combat's the weakest. So he's a 4-step unit. So actually what happens here is, I guess before we do this, we have to, so what's kind of odd is before we actually assign these, we have to do a morale check, or a disorganization check. So I think I misspoke saying that this would be the step value. It's actually, this is the stacking value of the unit. It means it's like 3 weight, and the stacking limit is 14 in 1 stack using that number. That's going to be also the step loss number. And there we can see it's 2. So this guy took 2 losses, this guy took 1, but before we do that, we have to check for disorganization. So it's just this bottom row with the same column we use. So we'll do the attacker first. None of the die roll modifiers are going to take place. It's morale of 0 or 1. Oh, this one will. Any unit is 4 or 5. And defending opponent has non-disorganized artillery. So we'll roll for the attacker. That's 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. So they are not disorganized. And for the defender, this terrain doesn't have any effect, so we'll roll for them. And they are disorganized, which won't matter because they're going to be wiped out. So now what happens before the loss takes place is the defender can choose to retreat to get rid of 1 step loss. And again, it won't matter because they took 2 hits and they're a 1-step unit, so they're going to be wiped out. This guy flips over. Actually, no, he's just going to be -1 right now. The 3-step unit, he would put this on and then flip it for the last step. A 4-step unit, you would put one on, then flip it, then put one on, and then remove it. Alright, and they can advance after combat, which I always love to hear. So that's an overrun. Pretty straightforward, I think. And that was done as part of the movement phase for the Viet Minh. Now, the rest of these units probably want to move somehow, and we'll take a look at that. We're all moved. Uncle Ho pulled back into Tonkin and brought his supply dumps with him, and the Viet Minh just kind of pulled in together. And so now we have French movement. One thing I forgot to mention with the eliminated French unit is whenever, it's not even elimination, but whenever the French receive one of these two combat results when they're defending, and the Viet Minh then enter their hex after combat, the Viet Minh get a replacement point, which lets them build units back up. The way the French works for this part during the turn itself is, once the step losses for the Viet Minh get to 10, the French get 5 replacement points. So the Viet Minh will get them more often, but it seems like the French can get a big chunk at one time. So we're back down here into the mountains, and the French are deciding to do an overrun of their own. And we will use our battle hex marker here, battle map. So they're defending, and these guys are coming in this way. So again, the way we do it is, okay, so we declare the attack. The defender can choose to retreat. Maybe we'll take a look at that. Then the defender can ambush. Both sides do their leading units, and the Viet Minh can declare Bolshevik spirit, roll 2 dice to get the combat result, check for disorganization. The defender retreats or stands fast, and then apply any losses. So we'll take a look at what we're doing, then come back and talk about it. Well, let's take a look at this. These guys can't retreat. Only the Tiao Doan. These guys can retreat. Pathet Low, GCMA, in Uncle Ho. Those are the only units that can retreat before combat. So we'll do this. We are going to ambush. Basically how it happens is the whole stack picks one of these guys and tries to roll above the morale. So we need a 5 or a 6. Oh, we got it. Equal to or higher. So that's disorganized. So that's pretty handy. They're not especially strong. It would have been better to roll against that guy, but with a morale of 5, the chances were better of disorganizing these guys. However, if the Viet Minh roll 6, one of these guys loses a step, which is unfortunate. I got caught up in the mix. Boo.